something comes along and sets the status quo, culturally, and I'm going to go way back in time. This some guy by the name of Gutenberg who invented printing press. He didn't movable type. I used to that's what they're writing it better. And he started, good documents. Oh, he wrote down the business. Good business. Because now you can produce more books and people don't have to handle it. Could be around and have for years and copying books. Not anymore. The machine going giving and Gutenberg Bible and many other. So now he's sharing because he's making books at a lower cost. People can buy more. So they have now they have more books. Just like saying the status quo is industry of hands copy. There's longer people keep it away from smart and so knowledge also through. Now somebody goes and says, Sire, we should I think that's just a fad. Now, we're next to we bought one of those and always written down. I can fit it. Think about capitalist and capitalist. Workforce. We have lots of that's no like as a foreign and even see Wozniak who market the Apple computer. They didn't invent the micro. They got with the vision and they made it a point. Who here uses Apple computers? This is what it says. Because they said, giving power to people, that's one of their original goals. They're still on that. They want to have a computer in every single school in the United States of America. Such a strong economic and educational presence. They were struggled. And people our own PC. I come from mainframe environments, and well, and we'll get right to our customers. The last 20 years, bringing your personal computer from home because your company didn't provide one. Shame on you. Now, you know what? This allows me to do my job better. This allows me to do now, everybody in your office has a computer. Is there anybody who doesn't have a personal computer? In their office. Because we've learned that why? The grasses that are driving the user-created energy that drives construction. Like the printer, so now we have over a period of time, you lost disruptive point in technology. I remember as an IT guy, bought web. Don't let anybody use it. Just sit there and look for pornography and they don't get it up. Well, now, after a period of 17 years, know, to competition is going to be or you well, I'm going to get stuff on the go, investigate it, kind of decide whether you decide to pay, but and people in your organization that are already like, you're probably the damn lawyers. So pass them out and get them to take on it. If you don't have time, then give the project see what's going on there. Find out business and see what your competitors are doing in your area for podcasting. And you'd be surprised what's going on there. And then take to that point for your business. Have a plan. Plan for do it internally or hire myself. Where traditional marketing companies, because they don't like that. So ask them some tough questions. Ask for proof. Tell them all of this work tools up. Well, prove it. Show me the work you're doing over there. And you can have a blog or a podcast. How do you know how it works? You have people that do investigation for it, bring the market, and think about this for long distribution. You're making a fly because it's really cheap and it's real easy to modify. Like this, perfect plan form, and you don't have to pay any users. Because the key guy I used to use the project called $2 million 2 years and be black coffee. Because that was not anymore. So I'm simply being this moving fast and it's driven by so hopefully I haven't used up too much of my time. I talked about earlier conversation or in the spirit of web